Hello everybody and welcome to the fourth episode of LeMoment Fans Television. A different setup today, but it's in the middle of the holidays and I couldn't wait until the end of the summer to bring you the two most important topics of July. First, we went to Châtel, the ride, and we're gonna show you what happened during the ride. And second, exactly 30 years ago, something else happened. We'll see about that in a few minutes. First, we're going to take a look back at the ride in Châtel.
Jean-Marc Servoz, France. Emmanuel Goubet, Suisse.
Ouais.
Emmanuel Durand, France.
Ouais.
Stéphane Le Gentil, France.
Okay.
Edwin de Leon, Canada.
Justin de Leon, Canada. Nicolas Lelièvre, France.
Thierry Mertens, Belgium.
Greg LeMoment, USA.
So Edwin, what's happening?
Oh, I can't ride, I'm sick.
Hi, Dad. The ride was great, but the week was even better. We spent the whole week together with Greg and Cathy LeMoment and we had an amazing time. I'll promise you, in the next episode, we'll bring the full story of the whole week in Châtel. Now, remember last episode when Greg LeMoment was having problems in the Giro d'Italia of 1989 and he was on his way back for the Tour de France. Now, let's see what happened exactly 30 years ago in the Tour de France.
July 1, 1989. The Tour de France starts in Luxembourg with a short prologue. Greg LeMoment is anxious but does very well with a 4th place, only 6 seconds slower than Eric Breukink. After the flat stages in the first week, LeMoment is introducing his aero bars in the first time trial. He wins the stage and takes the yellow jersey, now leading Fignon by 5 seconds. LeMoment is now the star of the peloton and enjoys his yellow jersey. While the peloton is heading to the Pyrenees, Greg is still not sure how he will perform in the mountains. It's in the stage to Superbannière where things begin to change. Fignon attacks in the final kilometers and leaves Greg behind. Le Professeur is now the new leader of the peloton, only 7 seconds in front of Greg LeMoment. With Fignon now in the yellow jersey, the pack is heading to the Alps. The Battle of the Alps starts with a time trial to the ski station of Orsières-Merlet. Laurent Fignon is having a bad day. He's 10th in the stage, 1 minute 44 behind Steven Rokes. Greg LeMoment is doing a better job, finishing 5th, taking 47 seconds back on Fignon. And he's back in the yellow jersey now, leading the Frenchman with 40 seconds. The next day LeMoment takes another 13 seconds on Fignon in the stage to Briançon. His lead is now 53 seconds and Fignon seems to be defeated. The stage to Alpe d'Huez turns the GC upside down. Delgado and Fignon drop a suffering LeMoment in the final 4 kilometers of the climb. Fignon is back in yellow, leading Greg by 26 seconds. Greg still has a chance to win the Tour in the final time trial in Paris, but the next day Fignon attacks again on the final climb to Villard-de-Lans and wins the stage. Greg is now trailing Fignon by 50 seconds, which seems to be too much to win the Tour. Stage 19 to Aix-les-Bains isn't easy at all. Top 5 of the GC is in the breakaway, while LeMoment is trying to get away. The group stays together and is heading for a sprint. Greg wins the stage and everybody is considering it as a nice consolation prize. Paris is awaiting the Tour with a 25-kilometer time trial. It looks impossible to take more than 50 seconds back on Fignon, but the time splits look promising. Fignon is losing ground and LeMoment is really going wild. After 26 minutes and 57 seconds, Greg crosses the finish line with an average speed of 54.5 kilometers an hour. Fignon is approaching, the clock is ticking. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What no one believed happens. Greg LeMoment wins the stage and beats Laurent Fignon by 58 seconds. Enough to win the Tour de France by only 8 seconds.
Only 8 seconds to win the Tour de France, which was the closest margin so far and is still the most exciting and epic Tour de France ever in the history of the Tour de France. I can suggest you a few books about that edition of the Tour de France, and first one is 3 weeks 8 seconds by Nigel Tassel, and it explains every stage in detail. You should read it, it's a good book. Then of course there's The Incredible Comeback by Samuel Abt, a little bit more like a biography and history of Greg LeMoment, but of course with the Tour de France '89 explained. And speaking about the comeback, of course, here's The Comeback by Daniel De Vise. Very good book, and with all the details of the Tour de France '89. And finally, if you want some beautiful pictures, this one is a great book. It's French, but you can buy it on eBay. Okay, I told you this was the special edition of the GLF TV, and I hope seeing you for the next one, which will be in September, October. It will be the 5th episode and the final episode of Greg LeMoment Fans Television for this year. So, see you then. Bye.